Now we've seen how to extract data using an SQL injection. You can increase the security to level 1, but you can exploit this exactly the same way that you exploited level 0. And if you increase the security level to 5, it's actually very secure. It's going to be as secure as the web login that we've seen in the login bypass. So it uses the MySQL real escape string combined with single quotes and double quotes. So it's pretty much uninjectable. What I want to show you in this lecture is a trickier SQL injection. And I'm going to show you that in DVWA instead of Matilda. So I'm going to close this. And we're here at DVWA. And I'm just going to go down to the security level. And I'll make sure that that's set to low. Now I'm actually interested into the medium level, but I'm going to show you how to exploit this in the low level just so that the information flows properly. So I'm going to go to the SQL injection, and I'm just going to put number 1 in here. Now as you can see, we get a valid page giving us the first name and the surname of the user ID that we given. Now I can inject this in the post, in the box, or here in the URL, and I'm going to inject it into the URL, and I'm going to put a single quote here. And as you can see, we get an error telling us that there's an error in the statement, which means that there is an SQL injection in here. We can verify it by adding a true statement saying and 1 is equal to 1, which should give me, I actually forgot to add my comment here, so I'm just gonna add the comment. So the true statement should actually give me a normal valid web page like we see here. So it's giving us the first name and the second name properly. Now if I say 1 is equal to 0, which is an invalid, should give me an invalid page. And here we go, we're getting an invalid page, which means that the ID parameter here is injectable and the page is doing what we're asking it to do. We can also verify this using the order by 1. And then we can say order by a very large number, and it should give us an invalid page. And here we go, that means this web page is definitely vulnerable to SQL injections. Now I'm going to try to determine the number of columns. I'm going to put 3, and this is telling us an unknown column. Let's try to put 2, and the page is valid. So that means we have 2 columns in this page. So we can build our union select statement. Now you can see I'm actually have them built already, and I'm able to select everything, but I just want to show it to you again. So I'm just going to build the union select statement with you actually here. So I'm just going to say union select 1, 2. And we can see that we can display stuff in 1 and in 2. So I'm going to select the database in 1. And we can see that my database name is DVWA. So I can go ahead and try to select all the tables using my information schema.tables. So the query is going to be very similar to the query we run here with DVWA. The only difference is that the table schema is going to be set to DVWA instead of OASP10. So I'm going to paste that here. And as you can see, I can get my tables, which is guest book and users. Now we can go ahead and try to select and find the columns for each of these tables using the same statement that we used in the previous lecture. I'm not going to run it now because I've already run it. And if the table statement runs, then the columns table is going to run. So I've already found that there is a username and password column in the users table. And I'm just going to run this statement to select the username and the password just to show you what's going to happen. And as you can see, we can select the usernames and the passwords for all the users that we have in the users table. Now I'm actually not interested into any of this because we've done all of that before with Matilda. What I want to show you is how to run these statements with the medium security level. So I just wanted to do this to show you how it works on the low, and now I'm going to go ahead and change the security level to medium. And now I can go to SQL injection. Okay, and we're going to try to discover it the same way that we did before. So I'm going to put number 1 first to see a valid page, and this is a valid page. Now I'm going to try to put a single quote after the 1. And as you can see now, we're getting an error, but this error is different. It's actually complaining about the existence of the single quote. So let's try to put an and. We're going to put and 1 is equal to 1 like we did before. And close it with our comment. And this should actually show us a valid page, but as you can see now, it's not showing us a valid page. It's actually still giving us an invalid page, even though we said 1 is equal to 1, which it shouldn't affect our statement or our query. So let's try to put the HTTP code for the quote instead of using a quote. So I'm going to put %27 and see if that will bypass any security maybe they're using. And again, I'm still getting the same error, same problem, still complaining about the quote. So let's try and play more with this. Now, as I said, exploiting SQL injections can vary from website to website depending on the way it's implemented. So there's a lot of trial and error in this. So let's try and remove the quote and see if that will actually fix our problem and make it injectable. Great, now this is giving us a valid page. Now let's try to change it and say 1 is equal to 2 and see what happens. And yep, this is giving us an invalid page. So the website is responding to what we're saying. The only difference now is that we're not using the quote, we're just injecting it straight away after the ID, after the number. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to build our union select. So I'm going to type in union select 1, 2. And yep, that looks like we can write stuff in number 1 and in number 2. So let's try to select table name from information schema.tables like we always do, just to get all the tables that we need. And here we go, we're getting all the tables just like we got them before.